Let's get talking now. Despite the harsh economic environment caused by the effect of COVID-19 pandemic and the global economic recession, Nigeria's non-oil sector recorded a significant increase. Before the pandemic, Nigeria battled with a grappling weak oil revenue recovery from the 2014 oil shock, with GDP growth tapered around 2.3% in 2019. While the country's debt profile remains a source of concern for policymakers and development practitioners, as most recent estimates put the debt service to revenue ratio at 60%, which is likely to worsen amid declining revenue. According to pre-shipment inspection agents, non-oil exports earned $4.820 billion in 2022, which represents an increase of 39.91% over 2021. The current result lends credence to the fact that several export intervention programs and projects initiated and executed by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council under Dr. Ezra Yakusak's administration and other sister agencies are said to be yielding desired results. Well, let's talk more on this. And I have the right person in the house, the #1 chief exporter of the country. He's the executive director, chief executive officer at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. It's good to have you on the program. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, well, let's get talking about this revenue generation. We are always interested in that as government tends to want so much money from the non-oil space. Let's start with the 4.82 billion recovered in 2022 or realized in 2022. What are the fundamentals responsible for this positive or commendable development?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I said, thank you for having me. It was an impressive performance last year, the non-oil export sector. It was an impressive performance of $4.820 billion US. It was the first time we had that performance in about 47 years of NEPC establishment. Of course, you are aware that NEPC was established in 1976. And the key thing, before I tell you what were the fundamentals and what was responsible for that, you need to know that it was very key for us because about 214 products were exported from Nigeria, various kinds of products. And this is against the impression that people are having that Nigerians, we don't have much products, but 214 products, different kinds of products out of Nigeria. And these products were exported to 122 countries. And that performance was actually a 39.1 increase against the 2021 performance. And for us, that was very, very, very impressive. And I need to also tell you that some of the fundamentals or reasons where we had such an impressive performance is because you recall the government gave us a grant in 2021, and that grant was given to most of the exporters. And of course, they used that grant judiciously. And that grant contributed to what we saw in our non-oil performance for 2022. A second reason was we had several programs. NEPC initiated several programs. The first one was the Export for Survival campaign that took off in February 2022. That campaign took off, and we were persuading Nigerians to join the non-oil export space. And of course, at the end of the day, that campaign actually paid off. Of course, you recall that we opened several export trade houses to create an avenue for Nigerian products to be exported. We had one in Kenya, another one in Lome, and we had another one in Egypt, and plans are underway to even open more trade houses. And so these are some of the issues or some of the reasons why we had such an impressive non-oil export performance in the year 2022.
A lot of work is really being done, but let us understand the emergence of urea fertilizer as the highest export product in 2022. Can this be attributed to the Russian-Ukraine war? Has it created an avenue for Nigeria to thrive in this space?
Yes, I mean, you are not far. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, whatever is what you just said is the truth, because war generally nobody want war. I don't think there's anybody that will want to just engage where human beings are killed and economies destroyed and people are displaced. But then war comes with its own advantages, and that's a statement of fact. And one of those advantages is what we're reaping today within the non-oil export space, i.e. the export of urea fertilizer, which was hitherto being exported by Russia, Ukraine in that axis. And of course, because of the war, that is no longer possible. So Nigeria key into that aspect, and we are exporting. Than impressive performance. I need to tell you that the urea fertilizer became the first major in terms of performance, the first among all the about the 214 products that we exported. Urea fertilizer was the first. It topped the chart, topped the list of non-oil export product that we exported, and that was very good for us. And of course, we're making also progress from indications now. What we're seeing, we're collecting the non-oil export performance for the first quarter. We're working on it very soon. We're going on to the press. But from what we are receiving now, from what we can see now, urea fertilizer may still top the chart.
Sounds really good. Now, the NEPC seems to be working assiduously to change the trajectory, particularly in the wake of the African Continental Free Trade Area, which I've also followed closely. Are we on track, ED?
Yes, I can say we are on track on the that's African Continental Free Trade Area. We are on track, but of course, like every other project or every other initiative, there are challenges. But of course, we are on track because we know the importance of this among the 54 African countries. By the way, you need to know that AFTA was initiated because of the low level of trade among African countries. Statistics have it that the trade among African countries is about 12 to 14%, while in Europe it's around about 60%, Asia is about 40%. And that was the essence of AFTA in any case. But then we have challenges in AFTA. The challenges are quite glaring. And one of it is lack of the political will by political state actors to actually implement various protocols of AFTA. And of course, that has to do with the various states that signed AFTA. And the political will is not really fully there, though it's not enough to just deposit and ratify a document. There has to be policies, there has to be programs, there has to be a deliberate and a sustained effort to ensure that program or that project is implemented. And that's the challenge that we're having in AFTA. But one other challenge I need to mention here of AFTA is the issue of logistics, the issue of freight logistics. You will believe it that most of the times it's easier to send a 40-foot container from Nigeria to China than to send that same 40-foot container to any African countries or even West African country. That's the challenge we're having. So we have challenge of freight, that is logistic, and that would be a major challenge for AFTA implementation. There are many other challenges which I'm sure the issues or the challenges are surmountable, but I believe we'll reach there.
I'm hopeful too. That market is so large that we need to take advantage of it. I think about 1.3 billion persons across the continent, if I'm correct. Let's go back to the issue of processing and packaging. Edie, I am very interested in this because when I see Nigerian products, I want it to be at par with international standard. I want it to be on that same shelf where I'll see the foreign products. Now, how are we doing also along packaging? We need to keep talking about this. And our exporters, are they opened to meeting up standards?
Packaging is very key. if there's any gospel we're preaching in Nigeria Export Promotion Council, is the gospel of packaging, because exports to a large extent starts and end with packaging. You can have a good product, the best of all products. If it's not well packaged, it will not be marketed, and it will not be. Nobody want to buy that kind of product. Your product, the marketability of your product is as good as the packaging abilities of that you have. So packaging is very key for us in Nigeria Export Promotion Council. And having said that, we have different programs. I mean, we've tried to train our exporters, capacity building on packaging. Let me tell you something. On 8 March 2023 was the International Women's Day. We organized for the first time, a special event for the women, where we recognize our women exporters and women exporters, and of course we invited them to display some of the products they had here in our headquarters in Abuja. Now, the surprising thing we had, or we discovered, was that most of the products were good, most of the products were well processed, but the issue was packaging. And so because of that, we had to we brought these women together and we identified them, brought them together, and in the next 2 weeks, we've identified them, we've written to them. In the next 2 weeks or so weeks after the Salah, we are going to organize a special packaging session for them. We're going to bring experts that will teach them on packaging. And also at the end of the day, we're going to engage or try to link them with various packaging companies in Nigeria. We are doing this because we know that within the international, our products most of our products have comparative advantage, but they don't have competitive advantage. And one of the key issue is packaging. And so we're putting all hands on deck to ensure that our exporters are well informed, are well sensitized in the area of packaging.
Let me follow up with documentation and certification of our products too, because I know the NEPC has also been pushing around that space. So are we also getting better so that we don't have issues of reject? I know that's been a long while now. I've not heard any recently whether we had any issues of reject. But are we doing also anything around certification and our documentation?
We're doing a lot in terms of certification and of course of our products. About 3 weeks ago, we approved the certification of 50 additional companies. And that is in addition of the 154 companies that was certified last year. So we approved 50 additional companies. We invited the various certifying bodies in Nigeria. There were about 5-6 of them. And of course, depending on what you want to certify, if it's HACCP, we attach or arrange a specific certifying body to take care of your case. So we had about 50 companies 60 companies really, 60, not 50, 60 that are going through different kind of certification as I speak to you today. And again, just this morning, about 2 or 3 hours ago, we launched a program called the Organic Cashew Certification. Organic Cashew Certification. And that program is being coordinated or initiated alongside other private sector organizations, Valency, NASAD, and Pro Cashew. Of course, with Nigeria Export Promotion Council. And that program today that we just launched this morning is to ensure quality premium pricing of our cashew. You know that cashew is the fit, in terms of our export performance last year, cashew was the fit-based product that, and in terms of value now, was the fit, product that we exported last year. While urea, fertilizer topped the chart, cashew was number 5. And so we know the importance or the potential of cashew in non-oil export. And so we launched this program today, Organic Cashew, because we realize that almost all over the world, what is required now is organic. So we're going to train our farmers on what it takes to embark on this organic cashew. And of course, we had a display of some of the organic products here, like we have organic fertilizer that can be applied to the cashew, and of course samples of improved variety, improved seedlings of cashew. So packaging, certification is a commitment that we have to follow up with, because we know that most of our products have been rejected because of the required certifications.
Now, let me take you further now. Let's project for the year 2023. You know, business people, we always like projections. Despite the economic headwinds, what are you thinking in 2023? Yes, what are your expectations?
Well, I'm expecting the best in 2023. I'm expecting a more improved non-oil export performance for 2023. And I must tell you this, like I said earlier on, we're collecting the figures for the first quarter of 2023, where right now we're collecting the figures and compiling them. And I won't let the cat out of the bag, but so far the figures are very impressive. And they are very impressive. So my hope, my prayer, my wish, and that of my colleagues here in Nigeria Export Promotion Council is to ensure that we beat our own record, i.e., the non-oil performance of 2022. And of course, we have a lot of programs that we're also putting up to improve our performance in the non-oil export sector. I must tell you that yesterday we had a meeting. I visited the executive secretary of NUC, that's National University Commission. We had a meeting with him yesterday, and a lot of other professors of vice chancellors of universities were there in attendance. And the main purpose of visiting him or approaching the NUC is to explore the possibility of introducing export promotion in our various tertiary institutions. Of course, you know, we have about 220 universities, as I'm talking to you, both private and public universities. So we want to see how we can try some pilot scheme of introducing non-oil export promotion as a course of study. Because see, we have to catch them young. If we are serious about export promotion, if we are serious about non-oil export sector, we need to introduce that course in the university where people will learn, young people will learn on export promotion or non-oil export trade. So at the end of the day, we are projecting maybe 10 years from now, it will be a different story.
That's
and
good.
Of course, we have other programs that we are trying to introduce this year. Of course, you know our OSOP program, that is one state, one product. And which is targeted at each state. What we're saying is that each state should at least bring up a product that we can promote and for that state to export. But this time around, we're taking it a bit higher. We're going to launch, we're launching a program, we're working on it right now, Export 774. And Export 774 is identifying the various export potential products. And of course, it will be like a compendium of both exportable products and investment in all our 774 local governments. And of course, very soon, we're going to launch our passport to export. And our passport to export is just a compilation, or rather an abridged version of the export procedure and documentation brochure that we have, and we'll make it more accessible, more portable, that people can hold to know what they need to do exactly, the procedure, and what they need to do to export. It will be a passport that somebody can hold. You can put it in your pocket. You can take it anywhere. So we have a lot of programs for 2023. And well, God willing, we shall be there.
All right, then we're out of time. But in 1 minute, what will be your request to make your job, of course, easier and to make us get more revenue? That's what Nigerians want to hear. More revenue from non-oil. In 2 minutes.
Well, in 2 minutes, our request is simple. Our request is, we are requesting, of course, for more funds, because export promotion is all about funds. You need export promotion, to ensure that you promote the non-oil export sector. And so, for this incoming government, if they can set up a fund, like a non-oil export development fund, just targeted at non-oil export, where we can prosecute the non-oil export agenda of the federal government. I think that would be a key issue.
All right, the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusak. Thank you so much for your time. It's really good to have you on the program, and thanks for your brilliant contributions.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.